Good day, investors. All right, what is up, everybody? We're going to be talking about Lordstown Motors, ticker symbol RIDE, also called Ride Stock. Now, one of the things that's happened with Lordstown Motors here recently is that the stock has come down a lot. And a lot of this has to do with a short report that came out from Hindenburg Research, the same short sellers that made the damaging report on Nikola Motors. Now, in this short report to Lordstown Motors, it said that Lordstown Motors was inflating the accuracy of their pre-order sales, and it appears that that information was actually correct. The CEO of Lordstown Motors could not accurately back up any falseness within that statement. And the CEO of Lordstown Motors even admitted that there was a bit of fluff within the information that they provided when they completed the merger from their SPAC into a publicly traded company. And no one that is invested into Lordstown Motors, well, the majority of everyone that was invested, does not like being lied to. No one should like being lied to in general. And it is hard to do it when a company that you're getting behind and investing your own money into does deceive you. So, in this video, I want to be talking about Lordstown Motors and their stock price, which has come down more than 50% in just a matter of a month. And what I want to talk about is, are we at the bottom now? Do we think that Lordstown Motors possibly learned from the mistakes that they made? And some information that has come out here recently on their truck, the Endurance, which is the main thing that everybody was interested in investing in this company for. So, as we get to it, if you guys don't mind, please do me a huge favor and please be sure to smash this story and annihilate that like button, because as you guys know, that helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, which is what we're really chasing here as a YouTuber. And that helps spread these videos to more people that might find it interesting. And subscribe if you have not already. And if you're interested in being a Patreon and joining the private Discord, I have one, link is in the description. Thanks to all the Patreons, and now let's get to this. So this is Lordstown Motors stock over the last 3 months, and it actually hit its highs back in February, and basically the stock had a bit of pullback from there, and then the short report came out, and it started trickling down from there, even with the earnings report coming out. It was one thing after another, just many punches that were thrown at the stock, and it hit its 52-week low just recently. Now, over the last 52 weeks, the stock has traded between $31.80 and $8.79. Now, I feel really bad for anybody that invested into Lordstown Motors and saw this stock just drop down to its 52-week low. Seeing it even drop down below $10 must have been a sad day for a lot of people, because, as you know, these SPAC stocks, when they start out at $10 a share, and then when it's announced that that they found a target, they usually go up, which is what happened. You know, Lordstown Motor, when it was announced that the SPAC was going to merge with Lordstown Motors, the stock went up. There was a lot of hype, and then it was a bit rocky within this, and it was just prime for a short report to really come out. It looks like it just has so much resistance at $30 a share. When it gets up near that high, it just has so much pullback every single time that it goes there. So we'll start with the Hindenburg Research report that came out in March, and we'll work our way up to what Lordstown Motors is up to right now at this moment. So the report was titled, "The Lordstown Motors Mirage, Fake Orders, Undisclosed Production Hurdles, and a Prototype Inferno." Now, the main part of this article was just about the fact that they're inflating their numbers on the pre-orders for the Endurance, and that they didn't even have the supply that was needed to even meet up with a single sellable product. And then Lordstown Motors CEO Steve Burns told Yahoo Finance that they had pre-sold 100,000 vehicles, representing over $5 billion in future revenue, and a huge vote of confidence from a slew of top-tier fleet customers, which Yahoo Finance ran an article about this. And Hindenburg's research revealed that Lordstown's order book consists of fake or entirely non-binding orders from customers that generally do not even have fleets of vehicles. According to former employees and business partners, CEO Steve Burns sought to book orders regardless of quality, purely as a tool to raise capital and confer legitimacy. In addition, we show how, in desperation to claim there was demand for the proposed vehicle, he paid for customers to book valueless, non-binding pre-orders. And Hindenburg went on to show even more examples, like this one, for example, that Lordstown recently announced a 14,000 truck deal from E Square Energy, supposedly representing $735 million in sales. E Square is based out of a small residential apartment in Texas that doesn't operate a vehicle fleet. And this other one, 1,000 trucks, $52.5 million in orders, comes from a two-person startup that operates out of a Regus virtual office with a mailing address at a UPS store. And then Hindenburg spoke with the owner, who acknowledged it won't actually order any vehicles, instead describing the pre-order as a mere marketing relationship. Yikes. Now, the short report goes on to talk about even more fluff. Even one talking about a vehicle fire that one of the prototypes of the Endurance got into. Now, this is the local news out there where the Lordstown Motors factory is in that specific area. And I'm going to use this place as a source for news just because this whole area was very affected by the GM factory that closed. That Lordstown Motors then took over and employed a bunch of people. It was a pretty big deal. Got a lot of political exposure for it. So I'm just going to talk about Lordstown Motors using the local news that they have from this point. So the local news out there, they talked about this fire, which wasn't a really good thing for Lordstown Motors. Now, this fire happened at the beginning of the year. This was a few months ago, back in January. And but their local news went on to some other stories that they had. This is something that was about, CEO was asked about the fake order allegations, and they did an interview of him, and Steve Burns said, "We are extremely excited and proud to be so close to delivering our first beta vehicles, which we believe should solidify and spur customers' demand and commitments. Beta production reflects our innovation engineering, increasingly automated factory, and unique hub, wheel, and battery pack capabilities," said Burns. Commercial fleet customers should begin to provide feedback on betas in 2Q21. Around the time we unveil the first prototype of our second vehicle, a van that leverages our Endurance skateboard. So they're already talking about getting into a whole nother vehicle before they've even fulfilled any of the orders for the current truck that they supposedly have so many orders at the moment for. Another thing that is funny, that the CEO was, when he was talking about everything that is going on, he also decided that he was going to quote Taylor Swift to the news company. "There are always haters. I quoted Taylor Swift to someone the other day. Haters gonna hate, hate, hate. You gotta shake it off," said Burns. So Steve Burns has a very awkward way of handling things when he's pressed on certain topics. And the local news there also reported on Lordstown Motors' earnings report, which they released in the middle of March. And they reported a full year 2020 net loss of $101 million and cash of $630 million at year-end 2020. Warrant exercise in January 2021 resulted in an additional $82 million in cash. Now, they're planning on their timeline for the start of production in September 2021, which they're saying is still on track. But there are some conflicts here that could possibly look like that they could eventually be out of cash, because they announced expected capital expenditure range for 2021 of $250 million to $275 million to, one, create plant capacity to be able to produce 60,000 vehicles per year in response to greater endurance and interest than originally expected. What the heck? What are they talking about? Two, to accelerate development of the company's second vehicle. And three, build additional tools to in-source componentry to create a 5-star crash-rated vehicle and for certain higher supply chain costs related to. Now, to start getting into more recent articles here, this is an article from March 31st, and in this article it said that Lordstown Motors reveals Endurance beta prototypes. By this time, at the end of March, they had completed 2 Endurance betas, and they plan on completing 57 beta trucks before September, when they're going to be rolling out the full large scale production of all their vehicles. But then in this article, it also mentioned that Lordstown Motors will participate in the San Felipe 250 race, which they did compete in that race. Yeah. So they entered that Baja race, but Lordstown Motors' electric pickup truck reached nearly 40 miles of a 280-mile course. This is an article that was written on April 19th. Now, this was a tough course, though. Official results from the organizers of the SCORE San Felipe 250 show that the Endurance entry reached 39.8 miles of the 280-mile course. The Endurance has a range of 250 miles, according to Lordstown's website. Out of 270 entrants, just 187 were able to finish. And then it goes on to say, "We knew this was a grueling environment and would push us," the company said in a Facebook post. "We successfully navigated the extreme conditions over the first 40-mile leg of the race, with all our mechanicals meeting or exceeding our expectations." Just not the range, of course. While the company said it anticipated significantly higher energy demands from this environment, the reality of the terrain proved to be even more demanding. Lordstown said data indicated that during the race, energy consumption was higher than expected and could result in our vehicles stopping in the middle of mountain terrain with no viable or accessible charging options. Now, the company goes on to try to make statements that sound like the truck did very well and it exceeded the expectations, but in reality, they entered a race that was 280 miles of very rugged terrain, and their vehicle is supposed to be very rugged. Now, they're competing against basically some vehicles that are like dune buggies that are equipped to be able to run this type of terrain. And trying to say that your vehicle can compete to something like that, that's very tough to say. And you know you're going to be doing something that is involved in the desert. You should really be thinking about the energy consumption and how you're going to properly be able to charge this vehicle to be able to run in this race. It would have been a better PR stunt if they just didn't at all actually go through with the race. And instead, they would have done a test run of the race like many other people do. Many people do a test run of the course. I don't know why they didn't do that. That would have made complete sense if they would have done that, and then instead pulled themselves out of it by saying that they still need some updates to be made on the vehicle. And instead of just entering something and pulling yourself out, not even going halfway through the course, not even going a quarter of the way through the course, that's not really good PR for the company, in my opinion. There's so many problems with the leadership over at Lordstown Motors, and all of it trickles up all the way to Steve Burns, who just has done a very poor job of trying to legitimize this company. Now, you can just tell that the community there is very upset with this as well. And I think they owe a big apology to the entire town that they're in, the entire area, the people that they're employing, promises they made for employment. It doesn't look really good. And this is an article that the local news agency there put out as well. And this talks about Lordstown Motors knew of an SEC investigation months before public announcement was made. They're just preventing information from going out that is just very, very important that they should be releasing. Now, it's quite possible that this stock has been beaten down enough, and it could have bottomed out, though. That's the most likely situation of what is going on with Lordstown Motors right now, and that's the best case scenario for people that are invested in this. I'm hoping that this stock has bottomed out and things will be getting better. I really hope that there is a leadership change in this company. I know it's going to be very hard to do to get Steve Burns out of there. He got into that during his time over at Workhorse when he was a CEO over there. But just to go even more here on things, let's just take a look over at the analyst reports here of Lordstown Motors. Now, the stock price forecast, just something to look forward to, some positive news here in this video of Lordstown Motors. As far as the ratings go here with the analysts, 5 analysts have predicted that the stock price, the low could be as low as $10, and the medium $13, and the high $40. So there is some positivity to be looking at right now. And with the stock price beaten down as much as it is, I highly doubt that there's going to be another short report on Lordstown Motors anytime soon. Now, I know the point of a short report is to help drive the stock price down so that the short seller can profit off of it. But at the same time, this short report did bring up some pretty good points, and it did really help out the public know about some problems there at Lordstown Motors. And I hope that these problems are solved, because I do know that there are many people out there that invest in this company that their stock price went down a lot. And I hope that no one really lost a whole lot of money. If you did, I'm very sorry that that happened to you. But I hope that there could be some positive change in the future if you're somebody that held on to your stocks. Or if you're looking to dive back into this stock, now that the stock price has gone down so much, and you're thinking, hey, how bad can it get? Hopefully Steve Burns learned from everything that has gone on, and they can do better from this point. That's the best case scenario, in my honest opinion, and I hope that is what does happen. Now, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and your guys' opinions on Lordstown Motors. Are you guys going to be looking to buy into it at this price? Is this a stock that you're going to stay completely away? I would like to know. So, as always, everybody, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. New videos coming out on my channel all the time. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next video coming very soon.